Section 1 of Selected Poems. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information, or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Selected Poems by Willis Shuey. Quilts, read by Newgatenovelist. They gave me the quilt that Great-Aunt Elizabeth made, a quilt of pink roses and tiny careful stitches. It goes in my chest, for in October I marry. Pink roses, with stems of green on a background of white, and Great-Aunt Elizabeth pieced it for her own chest. She pieced it with trembling hands, for her lover had gone to fight with the South. Elizabeth filled in the long days with squares of pink, fitting the pattern together with quick, nervous fingers. Roses of pink for love and a bride. But here is a spot of red among the pink roses. I wonder what is stitched into the quilting. She finished it long afterwards, when war had taken all she had but memories. She pieced her life into a pink rose quilt when war was making patchwork of her soul. They gave me the quilt that Great-Aunt Elizabeth made, a quilt of pink roses with stems of green for a bride. But I see all the time the splotch of blood in the roses. October is so far when war is near. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Welcome by Willis Shuey. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. The train must be late. There is an uncertainty in waiting for a train that comes in at dusk, and waiting for her, the girl their son is to marry. She will notice everything, and the house is old-fashioned. They know it, but when you've grown up in a house, associations count more than styles. Carpets on the floor, furniture not old enough to be antique, not new enough to be modern. Things they had when they were first married, even enlarged pictures on the wall. And she, this girl their son is to marry, she has had different surroundings. She may think them queer, for there is nothing in him that reflects this. The light's on. She is coming. And she sees only the love in their eyes, and a picture of a little boy in kilts, smiling at her from behind a bowl of red dahlias. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Blue and White by Willis Shuey. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. She had a quilt all cut for her to piece, in tiny, even squares of white and blue. It was all planned, all cut, all ready there, and very little left for her to do. But all her life was made in blue and white, and every block exactly like the rest. She knew just how the quilt was meant to look. There never was a puzzle to be guessed. And so she came to look, half envious, at those who cut their own blocks, without plan. She longed to put in reds and greens and blacks, to slash and slay the quilt that she began. She made a quilt that all the world admired, all tiny, even squares of blue and white, when all her life she wanted crazy quilts, but never could be sure that they were right. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Re-Deal by Mary Willis Shuey. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. They have been married more than 30 years, and now they find themselves alone once more. Alone, with time to do with as they please, to play the games they could not play before. The things they thought they would find time for when there were few cares, the children all were grown, have faded with the passing of the years. They do not want to play them now, alone. They deal the cards half-heartedly again, to play a game of 7-up or rum, dealing once more the little pasteboard days, in hands in which the high trumps never come. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Second Wife by Mary Willis Shuey. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. I went into the farmhouse where she lived those many years. I saw the bareness of her hidden life, the stifled tears. I opened wide the closet where still hung the dresses patched. With trembling hands I shook my own silk gowns. They scarcely matched. I never knew her, but I feel her come to every door. No matter where I go, I feel that she was there before. She worked and skimped and saved to buy the farm, slaved all her life, and left it prosperous and paid for now, for me, the second wife. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Patchwork by Mary Willis Shuey. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. She never had a pattern all her own, but from the scattered scraps of other lives, the remnants that the others did not want, she pieced a patchwork that she called her soul. Broken, irregular, small bits of colour, pieced on a background of dull brown and grey. Faded, discarded, carefully fitted, she pieced her a life from what they threw away. Their lives were made in regular designs, their years were blocks of colour and of beauty. Lucy pieced love, John squares of engineering, but all they left for her was service, duty. Sometimes a square, once a pink rose, haphazard blocks made of small tasks they shirked. Sewing, nursing, keeping the home, the others had pleasure. She merely worked. She never had a pattern all her own, and yet from what she had she pieced a soul. A crazy quilt, perhaps, that no one wants. A life that never even knew a goal. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Portrait of an Old Woman by Mary Willis Shuey. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. Hour after hour she sits there while she tats. Day after day crochets in that same chair. Her days are now a chain of tattered rings, her life an endless game of solitaire. and double stitches, picots of white thread, are all the hours that go to make those rings, monotonous and even, without break, the days and weeks life to her shuttle brings. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Plans for a House by Mary Willis Shuey. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. Dear little house, with the added to look, queer little house, not built from a book, you grew and you spread to hold childish laughter. And old home of mine, these many years after, no plans for new house the best architect drew, seem half as complete and as homelike as you. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. On Receiving a Wedding Announcement by Mary Willis Shuey. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. It isn't that I'm sorry, I didn't really care, but you took me to my first prom, you're my first real love affair. Ours was the magic springtime where grown-up days begin, and that near enchanted summer I wore your Phi-Delt pin. My husband is much nicer, but there's a little thrill in thinking of old sweethearts while I check the grocery bill. You're just a fading memory from a happy moonlit past, but I rather liked to fancy that your broken heart would last. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. And end of Selected Poems by Mary Willis Shuey. Thank you for listening.